It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and it is time to talk Northern Areas football. And my goodness, it was a wild round last weekend. Joining us on the line to help us decipher this and what it all means is the great Graham Spud McKay, who is on the line. Spud, how are you, mate?
I'm pretty good, thanks, Jason. Don't ask me to decipher it. Got us all unaware.
Well, it certainly has. Out of the three results, only one of them went somewhat according to plan. And I'll tell you what, that's the one we'll start with. Your boys, Crystal Brook, Jamestown Peterborough, of course, played Crystal Brook, but your boys gave a very good account of themselves against Crystal Brook, even though they went down by 10 goals in the end. It was 15-14, 104 to Jamestown Peterborough 5-5-35, Spud.
Yeah, it's atrocious conditions again. I guess it's the same for all sides, but really, really difficult conditions. So that probably helps Jamestown Peterborough. But look, I'm very impressed with the way they are sort of putting in the effort, and probably the difference in the two sides was Darren Shillibeer, Daniel Hill. I think they kicked about 12 goals between them. If one of those had been, well, Darren Shillibeer especially, if he had been in Jamestown Peterborough side, it could have been one of the big upsets of the season. So Jamestown Peterborough's work ethic was good. For Crystal Brook, Luke Capitola was sensational in the centre. And, their normal players were good for them. So it was just a really good effort by Jamestown Peterborough, but one that Crystal Brook had to get, because it's very important that they keep on winning now.
Well, it certainly is, because the other two results for the weekend have thrown the cat amongst the pigeons, that's for sure. Let's have a look at the first one in BMW. They took on Broughton Mundura, who are a bit weakened by injury at the moment, but BMW were powerful in this game. 14-8-92. Broughton Mundura 7-9-51. Broughton Mundura playing an interesting brand of footy at the moment, and BMW playing like their lives depended on it.
Yeah, look, BMW, that's probably the first time they've had, for a long time anyway, that they've had their best side that they can put out there. And Lucas Kanga, who I said before had been playing with a bit of an injury, he's back to his male medal winning form of 2020. So that sort of gives them, with Alec Kanga and Lucas, both of those are key playmakers. And then you see Bradley Taylor sort of in the mix. So if they've got their full side and they perform like that, yes, they are really able to match it with those top ones. Unfortunately for Broughton Mundura, they have copped a few injuries, and we don't know how bad some of those are, but they were beaten by a better side last week. But if they can get these other players back, some of them anyway, it will help them a lot, because they are still in the right in the mix, but they were just soundly beaten by BMW last week.
Indeed, and they're going to finish top two, Broughton Mundura, so they've got some time to get them back. But that was such an important win for BMW. It may be the win that puts them into the finals, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later on. There's still some work to go over the next couple of weeks. Got to mention Coburn as well for BMW, kicking 4. They've lacked some firepower up front, Spud, over the season, but if they can get some multiple goal kickers up in their forward line, they become a different proposition altogether.
I certainly do. Nick McCullum is one that often does kick goals for him, and he doesn't even figure in there, so I'm not too sure where he plays, but that would be that, if Nick can get back and start kicking goals from centre-half forward for them, it'll be a big boost for BMW.
And if one upset for you in Northern Areas footy wasn't enough, well, we've got another one. And that's third-ranked Southern Flinders flexing their muscle against the top side, Orroroo, handing them their second loss for the season in a game that spent much of the afternoon in the balance. Southern Flinders did enough to win 9-5-59 to 8-8-56. A big win for the Tigers. Locks in their finals appearance.
Oh, certainly is, and they were sensational in being able to put 4 quarters together. Led really well by Nick Pearce in the ruck, and that he's been playing pretty well for them. And that gives them a bit of an edge, because they've had good players around that. Mitchell Smith played really well for them in the centre, and some of the other ones, Joel Amberg-Pedersen is good in the centre too. So, look, Orroroo, I don't know. They had a couple out that I know of, but Matt Dignan will be wanting to sort of press it back that they're playing footy again, not on leave for the COVID. So let's see what happens this week. I think they'll rebound, but it'll be interesting to see. But really a good effort by Southern Flinders to win that match.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go through the ladder as we talk about the coming matches, because there are some games that have, I guess they're pivotal in deciding where teams might end up finishing on the ladder with only 2 rounds to go. So let's have a look at this. It's round 14 of matches this weekend, and BMW at the moment are 5th on the ladder, only 1 game back from Crystal Brook. And BMW have Jamestown Peterborough this week, so you would think, sorry to say this, Spud, but it could be a percentage-boosting win for them.
Oh, well, I think that's something that BMW have to look at, because at the moment they're sitting on about 51.8%, and Crystal Brook are 48.21%, so they'll want to try and get as much percentage as they can, so that if they do get on level terms, that will force them into the 4. So, yeah, very, very important for BMW this week. I would have thought that they would be too strong for Jamestown Peterborough, but as I've said, Jamestown Peterborough's young players, Daniel Clark, Matt White, Tom Kelly are all really good players for them. Jesse Larcombe has been playing good footy, and it'll be interesting to see whether they can get any sort of ascendancy out the ruck. That's where they sort of struggle a little bit. Dan Porter it will sort of do his best there for them. But they are missing Simon Jackson, who's been out for a little while now with a break. So, look, BMW will win it, and it's just a matter of how much they can win by.
Yep, fair enough. Crystal Brook, who are hanging on to 4th spot grimly after a win last week, well, they're going to have to create an upset this week to continue to do that. They're taking on the top side, Orroroo, at home at the Chook Shed in Crystal Brook. Orroroo will be smarting after last week's loss. So, gee whiz, Crystal Brook are going to have to do everything right.
Yes, they will. And I think the conditions will probably be a bit better than last week. Crystal Brook Oval will certainly be a lot better than what Jamestown's was last week. Luke Capitola, Joel Millard, they're the ones out the centre that have to win it. I see a bit of a problem in the rucking division for them. They haven't really got any ruckman Crystal Brook that will dominate, and whereas Orroroo have lost their main one, so that means that Luke Bowman and Patrick McCarthy are having to do the majority of the rucking for them. But I think Orroroo will bounce back, because their centre line in John Nicholas, Darren Hughes, Tom Moten are all quality players, and it just means that Crystal Brook, I don't think, will have quite the depth to go with that. So I'd tip Orroroo to win it.
Okay. And the final match of the round, Broughton Mundura second on the ladder at the moment, Southern Flinders third on the ladder. I mean, this is a potential preliminary final preview maybe, but more importantly than that, Southern Flinders, if they can knock off Broughton Mundura here, in the last fortnight heading into the finals, they will have knocked off the top 2 sides.
Yeah, certainly will, and they are a big chance to do it, because bearing in mind that we're not too sure how many of Broughton Mundura will have back, I'm doubting that Matty Hayes will be back, and Tommy Whelan may come back in, but we're talking big players. Callis Freer, I think, may be gone for the season, so that would be a big hole in their midfield there if they lose those. But, of course, they've got a reasonably strong B grade, Broughton Mundura, so it's just a matter of getting their mix right, because I think they've got the depth. But this is an ideal opportunity for Southern Flinders, because I've already mentioned their coach in Nick Pearce, and would probably look at winning the ruck for them, and then give Mitchell Smith and Jackson Bruce, those sort of players, the opportunity to have first use of the ball. And they've got really good, solid defender in Zeke Tay. So I reckon that unless Broughton Mundura are at full strength, they will be struggling to be able to hold Southern Flinders at bay. It should be a really good game, but what a position for the association to be in now with the interest of... we went for so long with just a couple of sides, Orroroo and Broughton Mundura, looking like they were shoe-ins to make the grand final. Suddenly, we've now got 4 sides that are looking that they could be capable of doing that. So that's a great position to be in.
We do, and interestingly enough, one of those sides isn't even in the 4 yet. So, so things are boding well for a big finish to Northern Areas footy, Spud. That gets underway this Saturday. All the best, mate. Enjoy the footy.
Yeah, thanks, Jace. We'll catch you next week.